Hey guys, it's Caroline, and today I'm going to be telling you how to avoid tourists in the Cinque Terre. As some of you know, I've been living on the Italian Riviera for almost 5 years now, so I have some great tips for you guys to enjoy the Cinque Terre and avoid all of the crazy chaos that comes with the crowds of the high season. My first tip might seem a little strange, but it actually is to stay in the Cinque Terre. A lot of people will stay outside of the Cinque Terre because they think it'll help avoid the chaos and the claustrophobia of being in these small towns with these small streets and tons of tourists around. But actually, if you stay in one of the towns of the Cinque Terre, you'll get to experience Cinque Terre as it really is. The crazy busy time of the day for tourists is usually between like 11 in the morning and maybe 4 in the afternoon. That's when a lot of the cruise ships bring in these big groups and people are doing day trips through the towns and hiking through the towns, and it's just a mess. But if you're staying in an Airbnb or something inside of the Cinque Terre, you'll get to experience the villages in the early morning, in the evening, and in all the hours in between that a lot of people who are doing day trips aren't there for. If you walk through one of the towns of the Cinque Terre at 7 in the morning or 8 or 9, you'll see a completely different side of it. The streets are practically empty. It's almost exclusively locals around having their morning coffee. It really changes the whole vibe of it. And the same goes for the evening. Some people might stick around to have dinner, but most people leave before dinner time and go back to wherever they're staying outside of the Cinque Terre. My next tip is to utilize the morning hours. The morning is the absolute best time to do activities that are typically more crowded. So for example, the hiking trails. I would say if you're gonna hike, get up as early as you can and get on the trail, because around 11 the trails really start to get crowded and you just can't enjoy them the same way because people are constantly passing by. There are these narrow little walkways and you have to let people pass before you can go, and it just takes 10 times longer and it ruins the magic of the hiking trails when it's so crowded. So avoid the crowds by starting early. That is a huge tip, and I promise you will thank me later. My next tip is to try not to come in the super busy months. August especially, because this is when all of the Italians are taking their vacations, since it's the time of Ferragosto, which basically is when Italian businesses completely shut down, and it's the time for most Italians to go on vacation. But the Cinque Terre doesn't shut down because they know that a lot of Italians come to the beaches for their holidays and they want to be open and get that business. So this time is especially chaotic, and I would say if you can avoid August, it does get pretty crazy here. My fourth tip is to do activities that are more off the beaten path. So of course there are the must-sees and the must-dos like the hiking trails and the beaches and things like that, but there are also a lot of things you can find that are a little bit away from the touristy scene. One thing I would recommend is to look into Airbnb experiences, because you can find so many cool experiences with local people, and they have a limited number of people who can join each group and do these activities that are much more authentic, and you'll know that you're going to be having a really interesting, in-depth experience with someone from the area. My next tip is that if you're going to go to the beach, try to avoid the public beaches because they get so overcrowded and chaotic. So if you want to have a beach day, the best thing to do is to wake up early, go to Monterosso, which has the best beaches in all of the Cinque Terre, reserve a chair and an umbrella for the day, which costs around 18 euros, and that way you'll have your own little space on the beach for the day. You don't have to have your towel walked on by everybody else on the public beach. You'll have your own little private area where you can really enjoy the beach for the day. They also do half-day rentals too, so that's an option, but do make sure to get there early to buy your umbrella. You can even go buy your umbrella and chair, and then they'll give you your number and no one will touch your chair or umbrella for the day. If you go too late in the day, a lot of the beach chairs and umbrellas will already be taken because a lot of people come in the mornings. My final tip is to avoid the trains between the peak hours. So if you want to take a train, by all means do. It is the easiest and fastest way to get between the Cinque Terre, but just be prepared that if you go between 11 in the morning and 4 in the afternoon, you'll probably be packed like anchovies in the train, and there are also pickpockeets lots of pickpockets on the trains since they know they are full of tourists, and they can be very sneaky. So even if you think you're all good, always make sure to hold whatever you have in front of you and don't keep stuff in your pockets. Also remember that the train rides between the towns are pretty short. They're like 3 to 4 minutes, so you're not going to be in that super tight, cramped, uncomfortable situation for very long, and some people just have to put up with it so they can get to the next town. But if you can avoid those peak hours on the train, I highly recommend that. Alright, well those are all the tips I have for you guys. I hope this helps you enjoy the Cinque Terre, and don't be afraid to come to the Cinque Terre. I have read so many articles about the Cinque Terre and it's really scaring people off. They think it's this crazy, insane, chaotic mess and you'll never enjoy it because there are so many people crowded around you, but really it's possible to avoid that and you don't have to be in the middle of the chaos all the time. It is so easy to get away from that and enjoy the charming, picturesque villages on your own terms. If you enjoyed, please give the video a thumbs up so I know you liked it, and don't forget to subscribe. I'm an American girl living in Italy and I'm here to share all things Italy and a little in between. I'll see you guys next time. I can't catch my breath. Ciao for now.